Trick or treat! Happy Halloween! I'm your ultra-dominant ego man. I'm back from Newark to haunt you. Ha 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 ha. Hello, hip cats, groovy chicks, and finger-popping daddies. Welcome to the Jazz Ranch. Happy Halloween. I hope you like my entrance back there. You know, the KH, well, I'm back from Newark, because the people voted me back. The people wrote in and said they dug me. So the people who didn't dig me, well, so what? But anyway, I'm so happy you people dig me, so here I'm back. And the KH, he hit 100,000 subscribers. YouTube gave him this embossed black. He's too modest to show it. And I say, well, modesty is for those who have no talent, So anyway, I'm showing it off, and I should get half of it because I'm responsible for him getting the 100,000 subscribers. So I say, cut this in half, and I'll take half of it. But anyway, my great uncle was friendly with, Benny Goodman, the king of swing. Anyway, he used to go to all his gigs, and, they'd hang out after gigs and so on and talk. And one time, Benny told him that he had a problem one night when the clarinet player, he broke his reed and he couldn't play. So you know what Benny said to him? He said, fake it. Just fake it, man. You'll be all right. Well, that's funny. That's a musician's joke because, you can't fake it if you have a broken reed. Anyway, but we always do that. They say, play a tune, and say, I'm not sure of it. Yeah, just fake it, like you'll hear it. Yeah. So anyway, I got a split. Here comes the attack cat. He's got the attack cat this time. It's worse than the cat attack dog. I gotta go. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Welcome, hip cats, groovy chicks, and finger-popping daddies. Welcome to the Jazz Ranch, and thanks so much for joining me. Happy Halloween, and I'm sorry about the ultra-dominant man. He always butts in on my bit. But, I was very honored to receive the commemorative plaque from, and also a letter from the CEO of YouTube, honoring me for 100,000 subscribers. And it's you out there that have supported me and enabled me to have that kind of following. And so I'm grateful to you, and I thank you. And keep watching. And people ask me who bought my book to do more lessons from the book. So I'm taking this particular one directly from the book on how to put the chord in your right hand, also have the melody in there so your left hand is free to play a bass line. And a Latin bass line, or a walking bass line, or a 2-beat bass line. So I'm going to give you 3 special techniques that I use for the song Night and Day by Cole Porter. Here we go. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 techniques. First, the solo technique, playing solo piano, and then playing in a trio with a bass player and drummer and maybe a guitarist. And then the third technique, how you would back yourself if you're singing the song or you're backing a singer. You're going to see those 3 techniques. But within the solo piano technique, I'm going to talk about just one of the 3 techniques that are essential. The first one is block chords.
block chords with left hand, block chords, spread voicings, which is mostly what I'm using here, and then also the rootless chords, or up here, like, but then also playing the chord in the right hand with the melody, and then playing a bass line in the left hand, you know, whether it be walking bass or 2-beat bass or Latin bass. It could be like this. I'm using a Latin bass line there. That's like a bossa nova bass line. So it sounds like this. Now this is probably the most difficult of the 3 techniques of the, you know, block chord technique, the spread voicing, because this one really requires that the 2 hands are very independent. You know, you're playing a bass line. Now, what's grounding it is that bass line. So you really need to practice the bass line. Now, this is written out in my book. Now, I'll put this on my channel page so you can go to my website and look at this score. But that bass line, that rhythmic bass line, is holding it together rhythmically. And, you know, whether you play it as a swing like this, whether you play it swing or you play it Latin, doesn't matter. You still have the same issue where you have to understand that the 2 hands are independent. And to create that independence, you have to practice the bass line separately, and you have to practice the right hand separately. Now, the thing about the right hand is, what's happening there is you're taking the chord in its root position. First chord here, in this particular example, I'm using a D minor 7 flat 5. So I'm using that as the first chord. So now I need to be able to invert that up to the position in which the melody note is on the top. So, and that's where the melody is going to be on top. So it's going to be that chord there. Now I can separate them like this, what I did. Next chord is G7. Now let's look at those. So the D minor 7 flat 5 is like that, inverted up to that position. The G7 is inverted like this up to the first inversion. Actually, it's the root position, but I'm adding the 9th, like that. So I'm just using, you don't need to use all 4 notes. You can just use 3 notes and then add a color tone. So I did this. 3 notes there. And then I went to the G7 like this. Made it a 9, G7, right? 9, 3, 5. Now C major 7, I did that. So I took it up to this inversion, drop the 9, drop the root, add the 9. So I had that voicing. So really what's going on there is you're just taking the chord in its root position and inverting it. So you want to practice, a good drill is to practice all your chords and all their inversions. Like start with C major 7 and play the inversions. And then go to C dominant 7, play the inversions. Then play C minor 7 and its inversions. C half diminished. C diminished. C6 inversion. You know, I mean, this can go on and on. This can be a huge task, but you don't have to do all of that in every key all at once. You can just do the inversions within one song, which is going to be very limited. There's not going to be a lot of chords in a simple song like this. The melody note and adding some notes that are essential notes I could do this. I could put that F in there if I want, but I don't really need it. You know, G9. Now the important thing to understand is that you should add a ninth before you add a fifth. Okay, so I'm adding on the G7 rather than just being that. I'm going to add that note in there. I'm going to add that ninth in there rather than just doubling the root. I'm going to add the ninth. So the rule is always add the ninth, particularly when you're playing the bass note in the left hand. So you don't need to double the root up here. Just add the ninth instead of just replace the root with the ninth. That's the rule. To clarify the inversions, the root position is called, building from the root on the bottom. That's root position. So that you go to here, that becomes first inversion. Often people might think that's second inversion. No, that's the first inversion with the third on the bottom, moving up one more. So I'm taking the bottom note and I'm putting it on the top, you see, and moving it up one. So first inversion has the third on the bottom. Second inversion has the fifth, which in this case is a flat 5, and then the third inversion has the 7th on the bottom. So root position, first inversion, second inversion, third inversion, back to root. Now when I play with the backing track, I was playing in E flat, just because that's probably the most common key to play this tune in. So and I also played, instead of playing a 2 chord on the first chord, I played its tritone substitute in major 7. So the 2 chord in E flat would be F minor 7, or it could be, in this particular case, F minor 7 flat 5. But then I substituted that for its tritone substitute, the B major. And this is commonly played by jazz musicians, is to play the augmented 5th, major 7, going to the 5 chord dominant. Now why would you do that as opposed to this? Just a matter of preference. I like that because it's more unusual than playing the 2 half diminished. I like this, and then I can play that B major scale. And I play the B flat with a flat 9 maybe. Now, the voicings, what's happening here in this particular technique is I'm playing more block chord positions here, like that. That's, I might play the B major 7 like that. And then I play the B flat 7, flat 9, sus. Flat 6 like that in first inversion. So I'm playing more rootless chords in the left hand when I'm playing with a trio, because the bass player is already playing the root, so I don't need to play the root. So I can play more interesting chords and more, you know, beautiful sounding chords that have upper extensions in them when I'm playing with a bass player, because he's playing the root, so I can take the root out. Now I can add a color tone, so I can add this. I can add to this. That 13, you know, I don't need to play the B flat root. I could put it in there, but I can play these more interesting sounding chords. So let's try this. Maybe that voicing. Or maybe that chord there. Now these are like third inversions. Now I can go. You see? So I'm using mostly rootless voicings here in the left hand, and particularly when I'm soloing. But even when I'm playing the melody, if the melody note is in such a position that the rootless voicing doesn't work, then I'll play, or I'll create a nice sound by playing a spread voicing like that. See, like that. So I don't have to do like that. I can get a nice voicing that way. You know, so now when I'm soloing, I might do something like this. See those voicings? Now if I want to go down low, I don't need to put a chord in there. I'll just put the bass note in. Now, I'll use a shell there instead of using a voicing. Just a shell there. Now I'll go up here and use a rootless chord. Night and day, you are the one. Only you beneath the moon, under the sun. Whether near to me or far, it's no matter, darling, where you are, I think of you. Night and day, day and night. Why is it so that this longing for you follows wherever I go? In the roaring traffic's boom, in the silence of my lonely room, I think of you. Night and day, day and night, under the height of me, there's oh such a hungry yearning burning inside of me. And this torment won't be through till you let me spend my life making love to you. Day and night, night and day. okay, when I'm backing myself singing, this is probably the most intricate or subtle or, complex in a way of the three techniques, because I'm concentrating on singing, so I'm not really focusing on doing a lot on the piano, just complimenting it. But I want to complement the voice, if I'm singing, the night and day, I might just go, something subtle here. Night and day, you are the one. I may just add touches of the chord in voicings, mostly like these kind of voicings. Now, what are these voicings? They're really rootless voicings that have some upper extensions that are added in the right hand. I don't need to play the melody. Obviously, I don't want to play the melody. I don't want to play it. I don't want to play the melody that I'm singing. So I want to play something that complements it. And usually when I'm holding a note in the vocal, like night and day, you are the one. In other words, I can put a fill in there. Now that's very personal as to how you like to do that. I could play a chord like night and day, you are the one. I could do that, or I could do a fill. Night and day, you are the one. I could put a fill in there melodically, or I could just do chord voicings or some rhythmic thing, But you want to break it up on those notes that you're holding vocally. And then, whether near to me or far. And the other thing is, like, what I'm doing is I'm linking the chord with the phrasing of how I'm phrasing it. Yeah, so there's two concepts of backing yourself singing. The one where you support the rhythm of how you're phrasing the melody vocally, and versus playing off of it, between the notes. In other words, off the beat. Night and day, with it. Night and day, you are the one. Only you, beneath the moon and under the sun. Whether near to me or far, it's no matter, darling, where you are, I think of you. Night and day, now off of it would be night and day, you are the one. Only you, beneath the moon and under the sun. Whether near to me or far, it's no matter, darling, where you are, I think of you. Night and day. Now you can, combine them and have some with it. I think the best thing is to mix them up. Night and day, you are the one. Only you, beneath the moon and under the sun. Whether near to me or far, it's no matter, darling, where you are, I think of you. Night and day. You see, I'm trying to mix it up there, but I was thinking too much. This has to be something that you do naturally without thinking. In other words, to try to balance the two elements. And this is probably the most difficult of things to do, is to sing and play at the same time and get it to be rhythmically solid. This is a real challenge. This lesson is taken directly from my book, and people who have bought my book ask me to do videos that are taken from my book. So this one I did, and you see my book is laid out in a 3-ring binder. So it's very practical. It lies flat on the music stand. You can take pages out to photocopy them. So this is book 2, volume 2. And lesson 3 on Latin bass, night and day. So the song is Night and Day. I show you examples of a bass line in a 2-beat, examples in a walking bass line, and also in a Latin bass line. So this one is based on a Latin bass line, and here it's all written out for you so you can learn it from the score and also from the video. Signing off from the Jazz Ranch, thanks so much for joining me this evening. Please write to me. I love to hear from you. I always try to write back to you. Give me time. And until next time, in the words of my great friend Hermie Dressel up there looking out on us down here with pity, and he always said when I left his office, swing loose! And we'll see you next time around. Bye-bye.